Welcome in everybody. Thank you for clicking on this video. I am the Fuddy Duddy Gamer, and I hope that you will like, share, subscribe, follow, and comment on this video. It is a little video of Atlas, and I'm going to be doing my very first real run with the ship that was built for me by the guy that introduced me to this game, Van, and it really gave me a leg up on the game. You know, he built me a brigantine, and we're just getting final preparations ready to take it out on its first real trip. So, of course, that means it's time to get some resources, and I'm bringing with me my three trusted companions, Fred, Martha, and Judy, 3 pigs. The reason I'm taking them with me is because I always run into trouble. When I'm trying to do these things, I get attacked. And of course, these guys, even though they're just 3 pigs, I'll tell you, they will take care of just about anything for me. And they've been really, really good. And I am on a multiplayer server. It is a PvE and PvP server. It's 120 servers, and it's called Lost Tropolis. And they have divided the map in half. One half, the western side, is PvE, and the eastern side is PvP. So it accommodates both types of players. And it's been a lot of fun being on here. This base, of course, was built by the company that I joined. And I'm just, here trying to help out with supplies and stuff. But right now, we're just trying to get some raw materials for our trip, because we want to make sure that the ship is well supplied and that we don't run into issues. But, of course, that's not the way this is going to go. So this is the Soul Reaver that was built by my friend. And we're just putting some final touches on it as we get ready to set sail for the first time on a real trip. And I've decided to put on a diving apparatus in case we happen to decide to do some treasure hunting in some of the shipwrecks. I think this diving apparatus is quite interesting to be able to dive down into the deep sea, and it's going to be fun once I get into that part of it. And we're just a little, again, final touches here, just finishing up this little railing. As you can see, we've got lots of cannon in the back, but I've only got 4 crew member, and I had very little in the way of cannonball with me. So I'm not really looking to engage with the ships of the dam, or the SOTDs as they are most commonly called. We just want to get some experience trying to learn how to sail this thing properly. We're still very, very new. And of course, here we are checking our compass and our map. Basically, we're going to clear the port here and get out to sea. And our intention is to head straight south, due south. We are in A1. And according to the Lost Tropolis resources chart, the closest place for salt is in A2, and that's what I was all about on this trip. I want salt. Just want salt to be able to do some preserving, just to make my supplies last longer. I just think it's a smart thing to have, is to have salt on board. So that was my entire focus. I wasn't focusing on, trying to engage with anybody or any of the ships of the dam. I'm just going to do a little bit of exploring, head down to A2, and try and find this one particular island which supposedly has pink salt. So that was my mindset as I'm setting sail here. And I do love the game mechanics here for sailing. I mean, I'm not a sailor, I don't know anything about sailing, but I just think it's very cool that you're able to do this. And as you can see, we've got armor around the sides of the ship and the back. like I said, tons of guns. I think I've got 16 guns, 16 cannon altogether. And of course, as soon as we leave port, there are the ships of the damned. And like I said, we're not interested in engaging with them, not on this trip. We will in later trips as I go out. But for right now, I just want to get down to the south. The only thing that in this particular, we're in A1 right now, and we're going into A2, which is the tundra. So it's going to be a little colder down there, but I should be okay. I'm thinking that I should be okay. Or at least that was my thought when I set out. How wrong could I have been? You will see. So we've outrun them quite easily. Actually, they don't stick around if you've got a little bit of speed on you. So again, we're just checking our compass like a good sailor and mark our way to head due south and continue into A2. And this is going to be the very first time that I've actually crossed from one area into the next as well. So that's that was an interesting experience as well. So we do find a floating treasure here. And this is my very first attempt to try and get one of these in. And as you'll see, it's not that easy, or at least it wasn't for me anyways. It takes me more than a couple of shots here. And that one didn't work. And another miss. It's way, I guess I was thinking that it was within range, or at least I thought it should be within range. But it is a ways out there. And we are throwing a grappling hook. So I decide to move up, try and get a little bit further to the back of the ship, and give it another shot. And we finally get her. And we're bringing it in. This is my very first time retrieving any type of treasure or anything from the sea. So this was pretty neat for me. I'll be doing lots of this, obviously. 22 gold, which is great, because we do have to pay these crew. And I only have a few crew on here, but still, they need to get paid. So we're just going to be continuing on with our trip into A2, heading to the south. I've been to a few islands here in the A1 district. Nothing too bad, and I thought here I could be a smarty. Thought I might be able to. Oh, I wanted to check. That's what I was checking to see how much gold they made when I'm at sea versus when we're in port, because there is a difference. When we're at sea, they get paid more often, obviously. But the scenery, the graphics, I've had a little bit of jerkiness, as you'll see from time to time with this, so I don't think my settings are quite optimized, but we're going to be working on that. Now we're getting ready to cross into A2, into the tundra. Now this was a bit of an experience. Crossing this border, I know you're transitioning to another server, so there's the stutter right there where you stop, and traveling to region A2, which is still in the PvE section. But it was such a long time, as you're going to see here, before I actually pop out onto the other side so that I can actually do something. And I was just surprised at how long it took me to load in to this new area. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this as I move around, because I don't know if maybe it's best to pull your sails down to a minimum when you come through, because as you're going to see, when I actually pop out of this, I've traveled quite a distance and I'm right on top of the next island, which kind of surprised me to say the least. there's like the island's right there, and we're still stuttering here, having problems with it. It's not fully loaded in, and then finally we're in. But from the border right to this island, all that time, that's how long it took me to transition in. That I thought that was pretty annoying, actually. I'm just wondering, like I said, maybe I have to lower my sails before I get here, which would help so that you don't over travel. Because I'd hate to have it pop up and you run into, well, ships of the dam, or run into an island or another ship accidentally, which you could very easily do. So this is the first island that we're going to investigate. And I'm looking for an island. It's called the Green Stone of Power, which of course I know the Power Stone islands are very dangerous, but this is the closest place for me to get salt, so it says. So basically I'm just going to pop onto these islands. I do some investigating, but I'm not going to show you that. I'm just going to pop onto the island, and if it's not the correct one, then we're going to be moving on. But now that we moved into the tundra, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, it says that I'm freezing. Now as long as it says I'm cold, I'm usually okay, but it's down to freezing, which means that I could lose health, which isn't, well, it's not very good for me. So we're getting cold, so I'm trying to figure out, I was told, I seen in one video, they said if you place a fire near your the helm, the captain's wheel, and light it, it will help to keep the cold off of you. So I figured, you know, it sounds like a good idea. Maybe let's give that a try. So here I am trying to place my fire, and of course, you know, we get it fueled up. We fire it up, and it's not helping. It didn't do anything to help me at all. I don't know why. I'm down to cold now. I'm not freezing, which is, that's a good thing, because at least it'll help a little bit. When I'm cold, I don't lose health. My fortitude is usually pretty good, because I do have the vitamin buff. I always try to keep my vitamin buff current by eating one of the 4 food groups all the time. Or basically what I do is I eat 2 of each of the food groups, except for the fruit, which I eat 10 of for every 2 of the other one. So a 5-to-1 ratio. And I find that keeps my vitamins in balance all the time. But since all that didn't work, I picked it up and thought I would try laying it down again. But this time I thought, well, maybe if I change where the green arrow is pointing, maybe that would, you know, have something to do with where the direction of the heat is coming from. And this is what I'm doing right now, is, you know, fooling around with it, trying to get it set properly. Because I'm trying anything to try and get, because as you can see, again, we're back to freezing. Trying to figure out how to stay warm so I don't, you know, don't receive health damage. And it just, nothing seems to be working no matter what I try. So again, we try and fire it up. And it helps a little bit, but you know, I'm not like it wasn't doing a whole lot for me. It didn't seem, I couldn't get past the cold. But I guess it took me from freezing to cold, which I guess is something. Excuse me. But it was still, you know, I guess I was looking for a little bit better result. Now, I didn't have the high enough level to be able to get the fur armor, which is, you know, as I found out later, is really what you need when you go into any of the really cold regions. But I didn't know that, and as you're going to see, I pay the price for that eventually during this voyage. So I pick up the fire again. So here we are at the first island still. I haven't gone in to investigate yet. So let's take a look. And we've seen some nasty stuff on the beach there. So I decided we're a little bit far away. I'm just scouting the area, you know, see how we're doing here. And I'm going to be changing the format of these videos as well. I'm finding that I'm recording my gameplay, which is fine, but then having to go through and cut it all up and then go through and do what I'm doing now, the voiceover is really not a productive way of doing this. You don't get the, you know, my reactions of what's happening while I'm playing, which is really what I think would be a much better content than what I'm doing here. So anyways, with the dangerous animals that are on the beach, I decide that I'm going to move a little further down the shoreline and try and find a safer place to land, because I'm just want to check out the island. I'm just, like I said, this trip is totally about getting salt. I just want salt. And it shouldn't have, I didn't think it was that big a deal, but salt is a precious commodity. It seems to be something that you really need. So we find a nicer little spot here where I decide to try and put down anchor here, and we're going to make landfall to discover the name of this island. And again, we're looking for the greenstone of power. That is where this pink salt supposedly is. And I've learned so much about this game in the hours that I've played it on. As my videos progress, I will be sharing a lot more of what I learned in the game. Like the fact that I didn't realize until recently that when you are in shallow enough water for your ship to drop anchor, on the right hand side a faded anchor symbol shows up. I didn't know that. Didn't, you know, and I wasn't paying attention. But like right now, you can see the anchor is not there, so it's not shallow enough yet for me to be able to drop anchor. But as I creep in slowly, it should start to pop up. And when it does, there, we can drop the anchor down and secure. And we're in pretty deep water here. Sanity Island. Well, this isn't the one that we want. So, back to the map, and let's see if we can't find our next destination. Sanity Island, it's got lots of resources on it, just like all the islands do. They all have their different sets of resources. But like I said, I am just really focused on getting salt on this trip, and so we're just taking a look at the islands around us. There's a couple of them out there. So let's go take a look at one of those. So we draw up our anchor, and if you've played this game at all, you know it can be a little bit time consuming, to say the least, trying to get in and out of these spots, trying to catch the wind, and if you have no wind, making turns like this. I don't know, most times they bring the ships in, back them in, but I think you should actually pull them in on the side so that you have better chance of catching wind and also being able to pull out a lot easier. And with the ladders being on the side of the ship, just makes more sense. But I didn't do that here. Something I eventually do start doing. Then we hit some pretty nasty fog, and it's pretty thick. I can't see anything, so we're trying to use the compass and the map to get us towards our destination, which is that island there, just to the south of us, but we can't see anything. And I'm finding, judging the distance when I'm looking at the map of where my icon is and where the objects are on the map versus where I am in reality, it's quite difficult. So it's something I've got to get used to. I'm not quite used to it yet. But as you can see here, it gets pretty thick. And when we finally start to come out, boom, oh, there's the island. I mean, I get right on top of it, didn't know I was this close. And to save myself and save the ship, we have to bring her around hard to starboard. Try and get ourselves in line here. We had to drop our sails to stop us from crashing into the island, which is not a good thing, obviously, with a ship. I don't want to run aground. Like I said, this is the Soul Reaver. It was built for me by my friend. I helped gather as many resources as I could, to help out, but of course he had the skill level in the skill tree that I didn't have to be able to build a large ship. Or I guess this is a medium ship. This is the Brigantine, and it's called the Soul Reaver. And it's a Brigantine W, which is supposed to be a warship, and that's why it's got so many cannon on it. And I imagine, if it gets out into battle, I imagine it should do fairly well. We've got one handling sail, one weight sail, and one speed sail on this all large masts. And I mean, it's a big ship, so it's not super responsive, but it's responsive enough. It seems to be doing okay. So we decided we're just going to pull into here and drop the anchor. And this is Rarotonga. Again, not the island I'm looking for. So, we pull up anchor. And once again, we're going to head out and check out one of these other islands. It's a long and tedious process going around trying to find each one of these islands, which one is which, and which one has what you're looking for, especially when you're looking for something specific. I should, as I get into the game, I'll become more open to doing the exploring and, just check out every island. But for now, I'm very concentrated on trying to get, certain things. So we're coming up to this island. There is a ship already here, a couple of them. Obviously, some other players have been here. And so I decided to just pull alongside and get the island onto my starboard side. And we're going to do the side parking rather than pointing in at the island, which I've been doing. I think this is a much better approach, for doing the island. As you can see, the little anchor is up beside the hold on the right-hand side, which means that the water is low enough that I can drop anchor here. And this is Rook Island. Again, not what we want. But we're freezing again, so now I go down to the cook stove to try and get warmed up. And I'm not getting much help here. I keep trying. Figure a fire source is going to help me out, but as you can see, I am dying. And I start looking for a med kit because I know I have the med kit in my tree. I just haven't made one yet. I can't find out where to make it. And I don't have the supplies, of course, even if I did find it, which I didn't find on this particular one. And at this point, I have no choice as to what to do other than to just sit here and watch myself die. Luckily, I do have a bed on board, so I spawn right at my bed. There you go. I died. So this is my first experience with the Tundra, and it's not been too good. But as you can see, I did respawn right on the ship, so no harm, no foul, I guess. But I still got a lot of work to do to try and figure out how to survive this extreme cold weather. Because here I am, back, and I'm, again, look at my health. It's dropping right off again. Which is just annoying the heck out of me. I'm going to die again within 5 minutes, having 2 deaths. So I race back down, going to try and get near the campfire again, or the grill, sorry. And, trying to save myself here. And it's not looking good, We're running this is something, so it's obviously right now I'm on the internet typing frantically, trying to figure out how to keep warm, and find out that I don't have the right equipment to be doing this. I really shouldn't be in this this particular biome because I'm not prepared for it. But somehow, just as I thought I was going to die, the weather changed. And it warmed up just a few degrees, which is all I needed, because now we're just cold. And as you can see, my health is starting to regain. So I can handle the cold. I just can't handle the freezing in my current condition, my current outfit. So I just wait, and eventually I regain all my health and decide, I should have, at this point, I should have decided to go home and re-equip myself. But oh no, I thought this bright idea, seeing how I am in the middle of this grid, that if I continued south, maybe it would warm up a little bit. Going south warms things up, right? Yeah, not so much in this game. That's not the way this works. I didn't realize that the biome is for the entire square. It does not fluctuate from the north to the south side of the biome. This being a tundra, it's the tundra through and through, all the way through A2. I didn't know that, but I thought, I will just head south, and since we're close to another island or so, might as well try and catch those while we're here anyways. Just to see, again, I just wanted salt. That was my whole focus. Maybe I was too narrowly focused. That might be part of my, OCD thing. Now my OCD is, I don't have severe OCD. Where you have to close a door 10 times, pull on the handle 8 times, turn the lock 4 times before you know the door is closed and locked. I don't have that type of OCD. I just obsess over certain things. When I start doing something, I kind of lock in on it, and it's most noticeable with my gaming. Once I find a game that I like, I kind of lock in on it. So this island, which is on the port side here, I took a look at it. It looked like it didn't have anything on it. So I decided to forego that island and head to the next one, which is a little further west. So yeah, with my OCD, basically I find a game that I like or something that I want to do that I like. I kind of lock in on it and put all my efforts towards that particular endeavor, to the detriment of other things in my life. What I mean by that is I'll stop doing other things so that I can play this game. And right now it is Atlas, and before this it was Farming Simulator, and in between both of those I guess I had a little bit of Red Dead Redemption, although Red Dead Redemption It's really focuses on PvP, so that's really not my thing. So right now my focus is Atlas and Conan Exiles. I run a private server on Conan, or a dedicated server on Conan Exiles. So these are the two games that I've been putting my hours into and really enjoy them. I mean, I have a lot of fun with these games. I like the open concept, the open world type concept, and the grind. I mean, the grind of getting supplies to make different things is real, and I really enjoy that. I do. I know some people find it tedious and they don't want to be involved with that part of it, but I don't mind it at all. So here's our next island. We decided to drop anchor, and we're going to see if this is, in fact, no. Heady Bay. See, not what we want. We're just going to get out of here right away. Back onto the ship, and we're going to head back out again. So yeah, with these games, I'm finding that I'm surprised to my own self. I enjoy the open world. I enjoy the survival part of the game. I mean, Atlas is a much harder game than Conan, in my personal opinion. I mean, that's all it is. It's just my opinion. I find this a much tougher game. And of course, more ships of the dam showed up. And again, we're back into, you know, almost dying. And I'm trying, every time I turn around, I'm fighting this weather. So I was not properly prepared. I should have been more, done a little bit more investigating into what the tundra was. And I just couldn't deal with it properly, and I had to keep trying to run down to the furnace, which of course is on the very bottom level, and going to try the fire again, anything to try and get to stay alive here. And then there we are, we're being attacked. When I was in my menu, the ships of the dam started to attack me. Now this is where I fail epically, because look at all the ships. I've got them on the port side, I've got them on the starboard, they are on off my bow, and they are behind me. So I just decide I've got to get my butt out of here because I'm dying, first off. And I haven't figured out the guns yet. I've only got 4 crew members for the guns. It's not going to be anything. Just look at all those ships. I mean, I think that's because all through this trip I've been running away from them, and they just decided, okay, enough is enough. You're going to fight us one way or another. So I just decided to catch as much wind as I could, and we're just going to hightail it out of here and try and survive. We managed to get some distance between us, and again, I'm trying to warm up, trying to stop from dying while I'm under attack here. And that was my big concern, is if I die, are they just going to destroy my ship while I'm not here, you know? Which, of course, you know, they could very well do. And as you can see, I'm just about toast. I've tried the fire here, the fire upstairs. Just about. And of course, it looks like the ships of the dam have left me alone, which is good. And I'm dead again. I keep getting dead in this. So that's, what, 2 deaths so far, and a couple of close calls. But at least the ships of the dam left me alone, so my ship is still here. I didn't have to which I was kind of concerned. I thought if they waited until I died or just kept attacking me, but I was able to put some distance in between us, I guess. And now I decide, okay, well, it's time to get home. That's all we can do, is just try and get home and try and survive. And of course, here we go with these, I don't know what these are, or if they're water spouts or cyclones or whatever they call them in this game. And we got snow falling. It's just a heck of a weather situation. And, of course, our health is taking a beating again. So I'm just, like I said, right now, my focus is to try and get back to my home base in A1 and not die again. So that is everything that I'm focused on right now. I'm going to run back down, trying to get some warmth. Just a little bit. I just need a few points, right, just to keep me. So it's going up a little bit. We're at 46 points for health out of 100. So we've got a little bit of time, right? Oh, when we come back up, we're face to face with this water spout, cyclone, whatever. I gotta try and steer away from this one. And another one, of course, pops right up on the port side. And we somehow managed to scoot right along the edge. Not taking any damage from these, they're just navigational hazards and extremely rough water. But I do eventually, as you're about to see, get sucked into one right here. And what it does is it spins you around, and when you pop out the other side, you are totally off course. So back directly to my compass and map, so I know which way I need to get myself going to get back on course. So when you get into the cyclone, it didn't seem to cause much damage, or at least none that I could see. It just spun me around and spit me out the other side. So that, that's not too bad. I mean, but just when you come out, you just have to really check your navigation. There, as you can see, in bright orange sun ahead of us. And we're back on course, heading straight north, trying to catch as much wind as we can. And again, as I'm new to this, I'm learning a lot about how to control the ship, how to steer the ship. And I still got a lot to learn. I mean, I have so much to learn in this game. But that's okay. I mean, that's what I love about these types of games. They're challenging. It's not a cakewalk. You have to learn them, and you have to get the mechanics down. And I love the fact that there are recipes. You can't, you don't just go into a place and buy a gun. You have to go out and gather the raw resources, and then you have to take them and mold them so that they're usable. And what is this? Of course, some more ships of the damned. I know everybody calls them the SOTDs, but I sometimes just want to call them the SOBs, because I tell you, they pop up all the time, which I mean, it's good. I love the fact that they're here. I'm just not prepared to take them on yet. Once I am prepared, that's I'm gonna. One of my intentions is I want to be a ships of the damned hunter. I want to be out there on the seas taking these guys out on a pretty regular basis. That's what I want to do in this game. I'm just not at that point right now. Not with this particular skill level. I need to get myself built up. I need more experience. I need more experience controlling my ship, controlling my guns, getting some crew. I mean, there's so much more I need to learn. So we're almost home, coming into our home port. a little bit amount of safety, finally. So if you did like this, and if you'd like to see more, I'd really appreciate it if you give this a like, if you gave my channel a follow. If you're watching this on Facebook, give my Facebook page a follow, and share this or comment below would be perfect. And remember, I am the Fuddy Duddy Gamer, and we will be bringing you videos from Atlas and Conan Exiles over the next little while. Have a great day.